Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV as we continue that 69th annual Montana Grain Growers Convention, and the convention coverage has been a great convention so far. Going to be wrapping up today with some more of that policy discussion. Speaking of policy, the National Association of Wheat Growers is here with us. Jack Long, the government representative with NAWG, and you gave a great update today on the policy. Give us just kind of an update of what you were able to tell the crowd here at Montana.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Andy. It's my first time in Montana, and I'm extremely blessed to be here with the Montana Grain Growers Convention. It's a great event. I mean, there's a lot of people out here that are just advocates for agriculture. But essentially, I'm stationed in D.C. I represent the National Association of Wheat Growers. So today, I just kind of wanted to give everyone an update on where the Farm Bill is currently sitting, what are some of the things with disaster aid. And, we're on a very small timeline here before Congress finishes up. We have a little less than 3 weeks left before the lame duck session is over and they go into recess until the next session begins. So it's kind of, what does that look like in this lame duck period? And I know we have a lot of concerns and questions on, well, where does the Farm Bill set at? Because that's our number one priority with NAWG. At the National Association of Wheat Growers, within our Farm Bill priorities, we want to ensure that, we are seeing those reference price increases. We're seeing that voluntary crop insurance programs, and we want to see further development and incentivizations in our market access programs and foreign market developments, because those trade programs are extremely important for us too. So, but the Farm Bill itself, as it's looking right now, we're hopeful that maybe some work can get done in the lame duck period, but those conversations of an extension are on the table, and have been mentioned by a couple people up on Capitol Hill too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of tough when you're looking at a lame duck in such a short window, as you mentioned, but you're going to try and get through this lame duck. Probably not going to see that Farm Bill pass, as you mentioned, but what are some things that you guys would like to see come out of this lame duck session, and what are some of the training things that you're going to have to focus on for some of these freshman senators and freshman representatives coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bring up a great point. The Farm Bill is still our number one priority, but, we don't know what that looks like next year and timeline-wise. We're having the Senate kind of shift in power and focus. So right now we are focused on our growers, and we want to try to get something done now. So we're kind of shifting focus towards the ad hoc disaster aid representation too. I know one of the ones that has been discussed quite a bit is the Farm Act. That is an extremely helpful tool for our growers throughout the whole United States. I know a lot of people here in Montana find a very promising piece of legislation, and it's getting a lot of momentum on Capitol Hill. So that's something that we're keeping a close eye on as it continues on. And I know today is fairly fresh in the week, so I know that the House just has came back in from their recess. So we're going to see where the gears start to turn up there on Capitol Hill. But that's definitely something we want to keep an eye on here before the lame duck period ends.
Well, also, we had this Montana discussion. We heard from Nathan Kane that the Montana policy developed right here at Montana Grain Growers made it all the way to the national level. Talk about the collaboration that there is with Montana Grain Growers and National Association of Wheat Growers, and also talk about your experience here in Montana for the first time.
Yeah, the representation from Montana is extremely important on the national level. Nathan Kane serves as one of our national officers, so we're glad to see that representation. And, we have seen policies brought up on the Montana Grain Growers level that has trickled up to the national space. So, to make a long story short, your voice does matter. Agriculture is 1% of the nation's population, so we need to make sure that our voice, while it's few, it's mighty though too. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to be here. It's my first time in Montana. I was actually picked up by the Vice President, Clayton Lauren. He says, I'm going to show you everything that Great Falls has to offer. So we go to Cattleman's Steakhouse, have a wonderful steak, having talks with growers and people here at the trade show all alike. And then he's like, I'm going to take you to another historic spot here in Great Falls, which is the Sip and Dip. I walked in and it was everything I imagined and even more. It's an incredible place. Get one of those famous fish bowls there and got to see the mermaids in action. So it felt like a fever dream, but it was great being surrounded by growers and just having those conversations, and felt like I was back in small town America. So it was really nice.
It certainly is great. And there is photo evidence of it that may surface at some point. Maybe. Well, once again, that's Jack Long, the national representative for the National Association of Wheat Growers. Well, we'll take a 30-second break and come back to look at your ag markets as we continue that convention coverage from the 69th annual Montana Grain Growers Association annual convention.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Welcome back, friends, as we take a look at some of your ag markets. Yesterday we did see the livestock futures softening up by quite a bit on the feeder cattle futures, giving away over $2.50, but that's all due to the fact that everybody's waiting to see where these cash cattle markets are going to come in at. Yesterday we did see some of the box beef prices also slipping lower, which could put a little bit of a test to bring those cash cattle bids higher than what we saw last week, but early bids were coming in at steady to maybe a touch softer than last week, so hopefully we are going to see some higher prices throughout today and maybe even into tomorrow. Now, when we turn things over to our local auctions, it's certainly been a bred cow market test all over the area. And this week we saw Torrington Livestock have their bred cow special on Monday, and those averages coming in right about $2,800 on the bred heifers, a little bit stronger on some of those younger bred cows, 2 to 4 years old. But when you get to those 5 to 6 year old middle-aged bred cows, their averages coming in about $2,600. So really a strong, steady market for some of these bred markets. As we wrap up with some of the grain futures, it was kind of a back and forth trading session yesterday, as much of the grain sector found themselves just about where they started, as many are trying to figure out where we're going to see the technical pressure put on and where we're going to see some of the advancements, as Russia cheap wheat is certainly continuing to plague some of the prices, but we're also seeing some of the opportunities for exports come through. But it's all a big question mark, and what's all being discussed here at the Montana Grain Growers Convention. Well, that is going to wrap us up for today's coverage here on Northern Ag TV. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.